Que pasa, YouTube? What's up, everybody? I know this is going up a little bit late on Saturday. Reason being is that Magic and I are actually playing on Saturday. Like, we're supposed to play in about like 20-25 minutes. So hopefully I can get this done, gem my team real quick, and we can hop into that battle. But yeah, we were originally supposed to play Wednesday. Couldn't play Wednesday. Couldn't play Thursday. Supposed to play Friday, but I was gone all day, literally until midnight. And then we're here on Saturday, hopefully going to get the game done and uploaded on time tomorrow. So we are facing the Memphis Drizzlies, coached by MAGICACTIVATR. His channel link and stuff will be down below. We are coming off of a very solid victory from last week, ending the winning streak of the Montreal Habs, handing them their first loss this season, which is pretty awesome. I believe we are currently number 2 by just 1 point, which means if we can win this game by a higher score, by at least 2 points or 2 mons more than Astor, if Astor loses and we win this week, we can actually end up being number 1 in the rankings at the end of week 8. So that's going to be really awesome. Really hoping that we can pull out a victory this week. But Magic has had a very interesting run this season so far in the GBA D League. He lost his first 3 games, but he's been on a 4-game winning streak, which is kind of insane. Like, the Memphis Drizzlies definitely trying to make a comeback through this season, hopefully clinch that last playoff spot. And I was honestly pretty surprised about that. I thought that Magic was going to be one of the people that didn't do so well, and he's kind of turned it around. So we got a streak against a streak. I think we are on a 6-game winning streak, and he is on a 4-game winning streak. So at this point, one of our streaks will end, and we will have to see who exactly it will be. So if you guys are excited for this, make sure to hammer arm that like button down below and to answer the question of the day, which will be on your screen. So with that being said, let's take a look at the matchup, which is down below me. So Magic has a very fat draft. Milotic is really fat. Mega Venusaur is fat. Landers and Togekiss are both fat, but they can be offensive typically. Arcanine can also be kind of offensive, but I feel like defensive is a better set to potentially run. I guess Kamala could also be offensive, but defensive is typically what I see, or assault vested. And then he's got an Armaldo, which I don't know why you would ever draft Armaldo. I personally dislike Armaldo. I don't think Armaldo is ever a Pokemon that you should ever consider drafting. That's just my opinion, and I would love to see an Armaldo in this matchup, because at team preview I'm gonna be up 6-5, and that's gonna be excellent for me. So yeah, I really don't feel like Armaldo's coming to this matchup, but the top 6 are mainly what I'm expecting, more or less the first 4. Like, I definitely feel Milotic is gonna come this match, even though yeah, we have Shaymin and Jolteon. He does have a Mega Venusaur, which is again stupidly fat, so yeah, we can definitely deal with Shaymin and Raichu accordingly. Also, Jolteon can just switch right into Raichu because of Lightning, Volt Absorb, sorry, not Lightning Run, yeah, Volt Absorb. So gotta watch out for that. Mismagius, I honestly think is only going to come because it's one of his best answers to my Reuniclus, which if you look at his draft, he has no Dark type, and his Steel type has a base 31 special defense stat. So yeah, like, I'm honestly expecting him to bring Mismagius, like a taunt bulky Mismagius possibly, or like a Life Orb offensive taunt set, just to be able to pressure Reuniclus accordingly. Then the final 2 mons that I think are up in the air, actually no, Kartana I definitely think is going to be coming this match, because Scarf Kartana is pretty scary on paper, so really have to watch out for that. Also, like, an SD set could be a little bit annoying to deal with, so again, have to be careful with that. And then the final 2 mons, I could honestly see him switching between either Landorus and Mega Venusaur, or Togekiss and the Mienshao. Now, Landorus and Mega Venusaur just get absolutely destroyed by most of our team, but the thing about Mega Venusaur is that it deals with Shaymin, Raichu, and with Tapu Fini. Also, it deals with our Greninja as well. So I could definitely see him wanting to at least bring Mega Venusaur, but if he brings Mega Venusaur and he brings Kartana, then that's 1/3 of his team that's going to get absolutely blown back by my Kyurem-Black's Ice Beam if I do bring that. So that's going to be really good for us. A Landorus could possibly be Scarf this matchup. I can definitely see him bringing a Scarf for either the Landorus, the Kartana, or the Mienshao. More so the latter of the two, because if he brings Scarfed Landorus, I can take advantage of whatever he locks himself into, whether it be Earthquake or like Stone Edge or Knockoff or something, so really not too concerned about that. Togekiss could maybe come just because he may need a Defogger, but then again, I've seen him run Defog Kartana before, so yeah, that's kind of interesting, so I have to watch out for that. Manchow, if he brings Life Orb, it should be a little bit more manageable, but if it is Scarf, that could be slightly annoying, so really have to be careful around the Manchow and figure out what kind of set it is bringing. I honestly do not expect Arcanine to come this match. Kyurem-Black, Tapu Fini, even Shaymin with Earth Power, Donphan, Greninja, Snorlax, and Aerodactyl. All 7 of those Mons just destroy or pressure Arcanine once rocks are up to the point where it's not even going to be a problem, and then Blaziken can hit it on the special side, and then so can Raichu. Raichu learned Surf, for Pete's sake, so yeah, I honestly don't expect them to bring Arcanine this game. I really feel like it has a terrible matchup, and then Kamalo or Amaldo I guess could come, but realistically I don't see why he would want to bring them. But yeah, that is my thoughts going into this matchup. So let's jump into the first team member. As always, shouts out to the front office homies for helping me out. Mainly just the Quinn and Harris is awesome this week. And then the Bullet Punch Club, as always, for their input as well. So let's go ahead and reveal the first team member here. We got Bailey, the shiny Reuniclus. As I mentioned, he has absolutely nothing for this Reuniclus. The best things he has to stop Reuniclus are Haze Milotic, which I'm like 99% sure Haze Milotic is coming. If for some reason, for whatever odd reason, he does not have Haze and he does not have Dragon Tail on Milotic, this will just come in, click Iron Defense, recover, or Calm Mind. Or click Calm Mind, recover, and then Iron Defense. And we just go from there, and I just basically win. At +1, Psychic does 80 to like 90-ish% to Kartana. So Kartana is not even an answer to this set. And if we're able to get up an Iron Defense, none of his physical hits are going to be destroying us. So obviously Haze Milotic is a huge problem going into this matchup. Also Mismagius, this is why I mainly think he would want to bring Mismagius, because if it's Taunt, then it can stop me from trying to set up, from recovering potentially, or if he's like in Life Orb Shadow Ball set, then that's going to be hitting me pretty hard, so I do have to be careful with that. But between Milotic and Mismagius, I honestly feel those are his 2 best answers to my Reuniclus. I guess he could try to Paraflinch me with Togekiss if he wanted to go down that route, and then he could maybe have like Sleep Powder on Mega Venusaur if he brings it, which, I mean, we have Tapu Fini, and if we bring Tapu Fini, then him having Thunder Wave or Sleep Powder, it's just going to be useless to him. So there is a chance that he may not even bring those status moves because of Tapu Fini, which does kind of have a decent matchup in this game. Like, yeah, Jolteon, Kartana, and Mega Venusaur are slightly annoying, but the Tapu Fini can still definitely be useful if we were to bring it. Spoilers, we're not. But yeah, more or less, this set should be able to just set up late game, because we do have a pretty good offensive core in this team to be able to deal with his only real answers to this Reuniclus set. So if we're able to get rid of those walls, Reuniclus can just come in, set up, and we just basically win. Although, the other thing about Reuniclus in this matchup, though, is that I need it to be a pivot Mon, which may lead to it possibly not being able to set up as well as it may look like on paper. But even if it's not able to set up, just being able to spam Psychic and weaken his team for switch-ins and switch-outs if I have Hazards up is still going to be more than good enough going into this battle. The special defense EVs and the HP EVs allow us to only have a 24% chance to get to a KO'd by a Mismagius if it's Life Orb and we're at +1 special defense. So if for some reason he doesn't have Taunt, then Shadow Ball, unless he gets 2 extremely high damage rolls, will never 2-hit KO us if we lose our leftovers. If we have leftovers, I think we live 2 Shadow Balls regardless. But yeah, if Reuniclus is able to get up an Iron Defense and 2 Calm Minds, what? Two Calm Minds? Once Milotic is gone, or if he for some reason again doesn't have Haze or Dragon Tail, then this just really wins. Like that's basically it. Like there's no way around it. Like I guess maybe a Trick Room 3 attack set wouldn't have been that bad at all to bring to this matchup, but again, I just like having the pivot prowess of Reuniclus. It can just safely switch in, chew most physical hits, and still be able to recover off the damage, potentially set up on that Pokemon to force a switch in or a switch out, and if we have Hazards up again, that's going to be excellent. So yeah, moving on to the first member of our offensive core, we got the monster among Mons, Big Black Kyurem. Now look at this set and look at his team. Bolt Beam Kyurem-Black just 2-hit KOs or OHKOs everything that is not called Arcanine, which again, I do not think he's gonna bring Arcanine. Like, Arcanine just has such a terrible matchup in this battle. And even if he does bring in Arcanine, if I'm behind a substitute after entry hazards, I have a chance to 2-hit KO Arcanine, even if he is physically defensive, so long as he doesn't get the Intimidate drop. So if it comes down to that scenario, then we should be pretty okay, if I'm not mistaken. So as much as I would have loved to have like a Z move on this set, realistically, I don't need the Z move. Like, the Life Orb just ensures that we do a lot more damage with Fusion Bolt and Ice Beam initially, and we're just doing enough damage to the point where, again, we straight OHKO or 2-hit KO basically everything. Mega Venusaur is not chewing a hit very well. Because of Terra Volt, we cancel out Thick Fat, we cancel out Marble Scale, and we cancel out Volt Absorb, which is absolutely insane and just makes Kyurem-Black that much better in this matchup. So if I'm able to get behind a substitute, I honestly think Kyurem is going to easily KO at least 2 of his Pokemon because of just how hard this really hits his team. Like, just Kyurem alone applies enough pressure to all of his defensive mons, I think, and can definitely put in a lot of work with the HP and Spadef EVs. Jolteon does not break our substitute with a Thunderbolt, with the Volt Switch, with Hidden Power Ice. He can only break our subs with Shadow Ball or Signal Beam, which even then, I'm going to be able to clean 2-hit KO him or OHKO him after hazards potentially, so that's really nice. And then Roost, of course, is just for longevity to kind of cancel out the Life Orb damage that we will be taking. If I'm behind the substitute, I most likely am just going to be spamming attacks, or if I'm in the scenario of where he can definitely break my sub, I can then just Roost off the damage if I want to go down that route just to save my Kyurem-Black for a little bit longer in this battle. We have enough speed to outspeed a Jolly Max Speed Landorus, which I honestly don't think he's going to bring Jolly Max Speed Landorus. I definitely think like Adamant is the way to go in this matchup, whether if it's Scarfed or not. But just on the off chance that for some reason he is Jolly, then this outspeeds him by 1 point and we just absolutely annihilate it with Ice Beam. And honestly, I don't need the plus attack or the plus special attack nature to do any significant extra damage. Like, having this speed with this EV spread is more than enough that Kyurem can still do in this battle. So I definitely expect Kyurem-Black to put in a lot of work, and again, if it's behind a substitute, things are just gonna drop, especially if I have hazards up. So moving on to the second mon of our offensive core, we have Cesaro the Mega Aerodactyl. Between Aerial Ace, Stone Edge, and Ice Fang, we hit everything for neutral or super effective damage, and because Aerodactyl is so fast, we can easily run Adamant close to max speed, ensuring that we outspeed a Jolteon that's timid max speed by 1 point. I really don't want to risk him just speed creeping my Greninja, so I would rather be on the safer route and just guarantee that we outspeed Jolteon in general, because one thing that is slightly annoying is that Magic doesn't upload team builders, and here I was thinking team builders were mandatory for GBA D League, but yet I'm the one that's looked at for not being able to consistently upload or stick to a league. But hey, I digress. So either way, I don't want to take the chance of him not being just speed creeping my Greninja. So at least by having all this speed, we will always outspeed a non-Scarf Jolteon. And if you Scarf Jolteon, that's actually going to be kind of annoying, but that's really manageable, I think. Like, we can definitely play around that. But unlike Kyurem-Black, while Aerodactyl can't necessarily 2-hit KO or OHKO as many things as Kyurem-Black, after hazards, it definitely can. So as you guys have noticed by now, like, hazards are going to be very important in this battle. But at the same time, between Mega Aerodactyl and Kyurem-Black, like, Kyurem-Black alone, as I said, already just applies so much offensive pressure, but then you throw in Mega Aerodactyl into that mix-up, and between the two of these two mons, I honestly think are just going to put in so much work in this battle. Like, Ice Fang straight to a KO's Landorus, even after an Intimidate, if he is max defense, max HP. Stone Edge has a chance to a KO Milotic, depending on his spread after rocks. Togekiss gets absolutely destroyed by Stone Edge. Aerial Ace will always 2-hit KO Mega Venusaur regardless of what EV spread he is running. Flamethrower is legitimately only for the Kartana. I don't want to risk missing Fire Fang, and there's not really anything else I'm going to be clicking Fire Fang against anyway, so at least by having Flamethrower, I don't have to be in the scenario of, oh crap, there's a 5% chance for me to miss, and then I miss, and I lose because of it. At least by having Flamethrower, I can always guarantee I will OHKO Kartana, and it will not even be a problem. And, yeah, that's really it. Like, there's nothing else to say. The HP EVs are just really there because they're just 12 EVs that I had laying around, honestly. And with Adam and Max Attack, like, Mega Aerodactyl with Kyurem-Black, again, just apply so much offensive pressure, man. I really hope that these two Mons can definitely put in the work. There is one more member to this offensive core, but we will get to him in a second because we gotta have the other half of the bar with Cesaro. We have Shaymin here making his return after debuting last week with a more offensive set. This week he is rocking a nice defensive spread, and I actually changed this EV spread around. Hold on. Because I had 4 here and the little 4 there. Yeah, just in case. I don't know. Like, from 28 to 36, it doesn't really change any roles. But the main reason why I have physically defensive Shaymin is legitimately only for Kartana. Like, Kartana is absurdly terrifying in this matchup, especially if it's Scarfed. So I really have to be careful with that. But because of Tangaberry, there is essentially no way a Scarf Kartana can safely OHKO Shaymin with any of its offensive moves. And then in return, we just annihilate it with Hidden Power Fire. Hidden Power Fire is always a straight OHKO, so that's really nice. Seed Flare is more or less just really spammable against his team. Also, Shaymin allows me to deal with his Milotic, so I can pressure Milotic, and because Shaymin is just about 100% hard-walled by Mega Venusaur, I can predict the Mega Venusaur switch-in, and then from there I can pull a double switch into something like Aerodactyl or Kyurem-Black or even Reuniclus and just go from there. Or if he doesn't bring the Mega Venusaur, then I don't even have to worry about it, which is going to be excellent. Now, I did originally want to have Toxic on this last move slot, but yeah, I wanted to have Psychic over Toxic. But the thing about it is that Psychic really is only for the Mega Venusaur, as where Toxic is going to be really nice for a bulky Mismagius, potentially the Milotic, the Togekiss as well, the Arcanine even, and then Landers too, honestly. So yeah, like Toxic just hits so much more than what Psychic would be doing. So again, while this set is completely hard-walled by Mega Venusaur, the first half of our team already deals with Mega Venusaur, so I'm really not even too concerned about it. And then Synthesis is just there for recovery, so I can keep this thing as healthy as possible. So yeah, that's really all about Shaymin here. It's just mainly here for Kartana and the Milotic, more or less. So moving on to the third member of our offensive core, we have Eddie Guerrero, the Greninja, making his return. Rest in peace, Eddie. And this week we are rocking a pretty nice Choice Specs Greninja set. Look at his team. His only thing that switches into Dark Pulse is Togekiss. And if I'm able to get up Rocks up, then it's going to be switching in and taking 25% every time. And then Hydro Pump already does a minimum of like 52% to a non-max Spadef bulky Togekiss. For example, so if he's only max HP, we're doing at least 52 min with Hydro Pump. Not to mention that there's always a chance that I could have Gunk Shot or I could have the Ice Beam on my Greninja to hit the Togekiss, which I don't think Togekiss is coming if I'm comparing it to the other 3 Mons that could potentially come, whether it be the Manchow, Landers, or Mega Venusaur. But hey, you never know. But he has no safe switch-ins to a Choice Specs Dark Pulse. Yeah, we're not doing that much damage to Milotic or to the Mega Venusaur. Like, even if Milotic is purely physically defensive, we don't 2-hit KO it, which is kind of insane. But if Mega Venusaur is physically defensive, I think we can actually 2-hit KO him just after Stealth Rock's damage, which is actually pretty insane if you ask me, man. Greninja can definitely put in a lot of work in this game. As you can see, Milotic is just kind of a reoccurring issue to this team, but again, like, there's so much offensive pressure that we can have, and if we're able to get up hazards, then Milotic would just be chipped down and eventually beat down and gone, and it will no longer be an issue. So of course we do have the spikes on deck. The way I'm thinking Greninja is going to work in this game is that I'm going to force him to either switch directly into the Milotic or switch directly into the Mega Venusaur, and on that first initial switch in, I can go for a layer of spikes. And if he doesn't have Defog Kartana and he doesn't have Defog Togekiss, then my spike will be here to stay for the remainder of the battle, getting off 12% of damage on anything that touches the field when they switch in. And that's going to be excellent because that's 12% less HP that they're going to have to take hits from my Mega Aerodactyl, to take hits from Kyurem-Black, from Shaymin, and from Reuniclus already. And that's going to force them to either have to recover sooner, which is a free turn I can take advantage of, or I'm just going to be able to 2 KO them and OHKO them in general and just go from there. Water Shuriken is mainly there for a Scarfer that he wants to bring, whether it be the Kartana, the Landorus, or the Manchow. They are all going to be taking pretty good damage from a Choice Specs Water Shuriken. Kartana mainly because, again, it's got a base 31 special defense stat, and we're Choice Specs. Like, we're going to be doing pretty decent damage to that, so not entirely too concerned about that, although we do have to get off the initial damage beforehand. But if I can get up hazards, again, he's going to be taking that initial damage every time he's switching in and out. And then Water Shuriken is also really nice to be able to hit up the Jolteon for some really nice damage. I think like 2 or 3 hits does about 30 to 40% depending. And yeah, that's really all behind the set. The 60 defensive Vs, actually, the 60 defensive Vs allow us to only be OHKO'd by an Adamant, Scarfed Earthquake 12% of the time, I think, because there may be a chance that Greninja will be my lead going into this battle depending on what exactly he brings, because I want to get up my spike right away and just start keeping up offensive pressure from there. So if he does lead Landorus, turns out that he's Scarfed, and I lead Greninja, I have a really good chance to live an Earthquake, and a U-turn doesn't OHKO me in general, so I can get up that spike, figure out that he's Scarfed, and then just go from there, which could be really nice information. And the speed EVs are just to outspeed Kartana, although we are running a little bit more speed above the speed of Kartana, but it's just because the other EVs don't really go anywhere else. And then, of course, max special attack so we can hit as hard as possible. And then finally off, the final team member here is going to be Umaga the Donphan. This, rest in peace Umaga, of course, this is really only here to kind of pivot into the Jolteon. Like, we don't really have anything to stop Jolteon from Volt Switching. Also, I want Donphan to be able to get up Stealth Rocks and keep up hazards, or keep off the hazards from our side of the field, and that's going to be excellent as well. Now, I've only brought defensive Donphan, I think, one other time before this season, and I mainly brought it offensive, which is kind of crazy because I thought I would bring it defensive most of the time. But in this matchup, like Def Bulky Donphan, I think really does have a solid matchup to ensure that we can get up our rocks or Rapid Spin, or just get off a little bit of last ditch effort chip damage with like Earthquake or Ice Shard, and then we'll just go from there. So yeah, not really too much else to say about this Donphan set. But yeah, guys, that is the introduction to this week's team. Make sure to answer the question of the day, and with that being said, I will see you all tomorrow with the actual battle. So later, everybody.
No matter where you're at, I'm not here to make friends, it's time to attack and deplete your HP with a final smash. Don't make me turn around and pull a 6-foot hacks. 6 foot hacks. Yeah. 6 foot hacks. Yeah. 6 foot hacks.